Matt Hoops. We also got a couple guests in here. Right directly to my left, Blake Fitch with the great mustache right now, and Jack Welch, who's going to have a great voice throughout this entire interview as well. So, yeah, sorry, just letting you guys know. I should have had the mustache tonight. Matt's had a really good mustache. At least
I've never had just a mustache.
You've had
I've
it for like
been
a
able to
day.
Yeah, on the way to shaving the whole beard off.
Yes, so
yeah, I can't pull it off.
and Jack will have a mustache in like 4 years when he can fully do it. So, first off, congratulations on the good start, 2-0 on the season. So a good week this week. Blake coming back from both of you were a big part of that district championship team last year. Blake, as a senior, how excited are you for your senior year? And just, what do you look for out of this team?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I mean, it's one last time to play for my school and with all my friends. So, I mean, we're looking forward to a big year and great things ahead of us, and just excited to play with all my friends. So.
And then Jack, hadn't played football the last couple of years, correct? So how are you physically feeling, after a 12-week football season, coming into basketball and immediately having to make an impact?
Yeah, I was a little sore. Oh,
there you go.
It's gonna be a long night. A little sore coming into the season, but we're getting there. Conditioning has been rough, but
yeah,
we're getting through it. So, but it's definitely been helping playing through games.
Yeah. Man, I wish we would have known this. We would have called an audible, so just to save you a little bit. But
we'll get through it.
Yeah, just 2 games in, obviously. The start of the season is still new. Everyone's excited. Just kind of talk to me about Friday nights, kind of a slow start at home against a really good and improved Adena team, and how you guys were able to kind of just withstand that slow start and come out with a 17-point win, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a slow start. We did not play good offensively at all, but I mean, the positive thing to look at that is we did not play good or shoot the ball well, but we still kept our heads and kept the defensive intensity up throughout the game, which still slowed them down. So even though we weren't really scoring or doing good on the offensive end, we were still playing as hard as we could on defense and slowing them down and slowing what Adena wanted to do and slowing down Joey Francis too. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you're facing, and I'll go to you, Jack, on this. When you're facing an athlete as talented as he is, yep. He had a couple shots early. Just how much do you have to focus on just doing what you do well defensively, right? Because at some point he's going to get something out of it because that's the type of player and athlete he is.
Right. Yeah, he's a good player. That was the main focus, was just know where he's at all the time. And I think obviously a good player is going to get those shots off, and he's going to make a couple. But ultimately, we played pretty good defense on him, so it was a good night for us.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go ahead and say Huddle's wrong on your steals on this, Jack, because I felt like you had more than 5 on that night because it felt like you were all over the court. But, Blake, for you get like a Caden Patterson back from injury. You only had a little bit of the season last year with him. Mm-hmm. How nice is it to have somebody like him that can space the floor and make things a little bit easier for you because of how much you can do, at all 3 levels, but having that extra floor spacing.
Yeah, Caden Patterson is definitely a great addition for our team, and coming back from injury, and he can flat out shoot the 3 ball. So, and when I drive in, a lot of teams collapse most of their guys in the paint, so he's always there for kickouts, and I look forward to him doing that a lot this year. So.
You guys talked just a little bit about, I know both of you talked about not shooting the ball well or slow start offensively for you Friday night, but just you also spoke about how well defensively you played and how hard you played. Talk a little bit about your depth and how that allows you guys to do what you do. It's always coach speak that you should never have a bad night defensively. Yeah. And I think that just you guys' your effort. I think once it started rolling, and to be honest with you, your bench guys came in and gave you a spark. Just talk a little bit about that, and you haven't even played with probably the league's best defensive player in Jackson Zickafush yet.
Right. I mean, our bench is super deep, so I think we played like 11 guys, something like that. So, I mean, it was amazing to see them come off the bench and do well for us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have to talk for me.
Our bench is really great. I mean, we know that's That's a major advantage for our team compared to a lot of teams around the area, and it has been for the past couple years that we can play, 9, 10, 11 guys, and everyone that's coming on the floor can do good for us and make a huge impact. So, off the bench, we've had Aiden Cox, the freshman, Johnny Wetzel, David Long. They all come in and play defense. Make the right plays. So,
I think one of the things too, you mentioned the freshmen. Neither of those guys are afraid of anything.
Mm-hmm.
They're not afraid of the moment.
Yeah.
That was one thing that I noticed a little bit during the football season, having been able to coach both of them. You throw those guys out there and they're going to make plays, and that hasn't changed once they played basketball as well. So I just think that your depth just got deeper. With the addition of those guys.
Yeah, and then so when Coach talks about them being fearless, just how much does that help your confidence in them? Because I know you came in and played immediately as a freshman. You've played with a couple other guys that have as well, but that's not the easiest thing to do. You were fearless, right? So just how much does that raise your confidence in those guys that they can just come in and do what they do well to help you guys?
Yeah, they are fearless when they come in, and they're picking up their other team's point guards full court. They can hit open shots. And I've talked to them about it since I did play as a freshman. And, it can be scary, and it's definitely an adjustment coming from junior high basketball to varsity. But I think since they had the experience with football, and they're both great athletes. Great basketball players. They've put the work in, and they show it in practice every day, every week. So they can do it, and they're showing they can do it.
I think one of the advantages they have too is, unlike we just threw you into the fire and handed you the ball and said, "Here, you're the point guard." But those guys can play off the ball a little bit, and that obviously takes a little bit of pressure off of them. How often have you? I know the season's young, but you did have all summer with them. How often have you guys kind of had to just maybe pull them aside and say, "Hey, the game will slow down. You just relax and play"? Has that had to happen often?
Yeah, a couple times, especially in practice. I'm not a bunch because they are great players, but there are teaching moments throughout practice. And it's not just me. We have other leaders on the team. He pulls them aside. David Jackson's a confused, even though he's hurt, he's still vocal in practice, so which is good. So we all help them as much as we can when we notice things, along with the coaches. But they do a good job of taking what we're saying and applying it on the court.
Yeah, that's one thing I notice about them is they want to be coached, and really that whole freshman class as a whole, those kids just want to be coached and be great. Talk just for a second a little bit about the development of Dawson Mitchell, and what he brings to the team other than
The hair.
Yeah, he's been putting in the work with Blake over the summer. He's done a great job so far. I'm really, really proud to see the improvement that he's made this season, and he's just done a great job. So you take it away.
You're doing good for
not too bad.
I can tell
It's
you're
getting
working.
better.
Yeah.
No, Dawson he's been putting in a lot of work on the court and in the weight room. You can just tell he's playing with more confidence and physicality, like I was telling Bruce the other day after our game. He has gotten a lot better, and we're proud of him, and just keep doing what he's doing, and he's making a big impact.
And then, we've talked to pretty much everyone else, but, Isaac, what he brings for you guys, and it's, and I'll bring up another player from a different school in the league is like a Gunnar McCullough. How awesome is it, for you as a football coach to see too, those guys are pretty much playing the 4 or 5 and they're quarterbacks. Just what does it say about like his toughness that he's able to go out and he can guard whichever spot on the floor. And then he also does a really nice job for you guys on the glass. Just talk about what Isaac brings for this team.
Yeah, since we're all pretty much all guards besides Dawson and when David he's in, but Isaac is playing our 4, and he can do it because he can jump out of the gym. He has great instincts on the glass too, rebounding. He knows where to get, not just jump, but boxes out, jumps up and get it. And he can hit open threes. He runs in transition, can finish, and he's guarding. He can guard 1 through 5. So he's been a great. He's played a great role for us, stepping up big time.
I think one of the great, not only there's a lot of good things about Isaac Coy, but his just unselfishness to do whatever it takes for the team to win, and he did that. You saw it this year in football. He, as a sophomore, he threw for over 2,000 yards. Well, our team makeup was a little different this year, so his role changed somewhat. But anytime that he was called upon to make big plays, he did it. And I saw that the other night in that Adena game where not only is he in there banging around, rebounding and doing things like that, but he's still a really good basketball player. He sees the floor extremely well. Had a couple nice passes. Just brought a lot of energy to the team, and looked like he was having a lot of fun out there playing. So it was really nice to see.
Yeah. Then when you guys add Jackson in, I know Jack, you're really tight with Jackson. You guys were throughout baseball and football, obviously, as well. But just how much is he going to add to that dynamic of you guys are having fun out there, and he's going to go out and he's just going to be pretty much a demon defensively. Just how excited are you to be able to get that back? But how much is it actually helping your team now to where other guys are having to play bigger roles?
Right. Other guys are getting experience, especially like me. So I've learned a lot from him from last year. But I mean, he's a great defender. He's been doing his thing, putting in the work in the off season to get back to where he needs to be, and hopefully he can be back sooner than later.
And then once again, we're just you're trying to cheer on the Buckeyes last night. Is that kind of yeah? So
we don't have to bring that up.
yeah. So but there's Jack. We'll have him on another time when he'll sound a little more ordinary on the
Doesn't
on
sound
the
like
voice.
he's 12.
Yes. So I was trying not to say it.
You know
but-
what? And one other thing, we're talking about Zikafus, and while Jack's sitting here, he's got it covered up right now. I'm
Yes.
blaming those two pretty much for the different.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, the bad hair that you're seeing right
Yeah.
now. They started with that baseball run, and then all of a sudden it just kind of carried on through the fall. We show up at football one day, and these guys take their helmets off, and all of them, their hair's white. Some of them silver. So I'm blaming you and Jackson.
Yeah, I as someone who's away from it at this point, I appreciate. I'll appreciate when you do get it cut, but it's all right. So I mean, you mentioned the Adena student section got audio a little bit about it, but I mean, whenever that happens, that just adds a little more to the fun because I know
it was hilarious.
I was to say because you played when it was real crazy. I played when it was fairly crazy, and now it's like sort of tame compared to what it was. And but just knowing that the students are at least pointing something out, I think is a little more fun.
Right. And I mean, to Jack's credit, if he wasn't any good, they wouldn't
Exactly.
care. So
Yeah, no one cares if you're not very good.
Right.
So
I did hear that I'm friends with Cooper Day, and he plays for Adena. I did hear that on their scouting report next to my name said bad hair. So
I was told that
was probably on a few of their scouting report for our guys. Dawson's hair matched Adena's uniform.
Yes. So those things do happen. But hey, one of the things, this is the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show. So I know both of you guys have gone to the Haynes Total Healthcare Center. Jack, I'll start with you because I think we'll go a little more in depth on yours in a second. But this way, Jack can go kind of quick. But especially playing football or playing three sports, really, how much does it benefit you to be able to go there and be able to get worked on, and how much does it improve like how you feel week to week?
Yeah, I mean, baseball season is the most recent I can remember. I popped my hamstring in playoffs, and he was like, "I'll get you right." And soon enough, I went there. I think it was literally the day before we played in our. I can't remember if it was semis or I don't know, but I went right back in and got me right. So I'm very thankful for him.
Yeah, and then Blake, you've said talk about your ankles. Yeah, with your ankle injury before you've gone in and they take care of it, right?
Yeah, I think I've gone there since my freshman year. I've had ankle issues on both ankles, and I've gone right after I've injured him, and he's helped me with that. I mean, adjusting them, popping them, all that. And sophomore year, I strained my groin. I went there with my dry needling a couple times a week. So they're really good over there. They'll take care of you, and they make it really personal too. Like you have a relationship with him, and he's a really great guy.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we appreciate being partners with them for this show. I know Coach Hoops, you've had a nice relationship with them as well to help your teams as well.
Oh, I mean, it's there anytime that someone goes down, he's one of the first people I text, and I've had him actually. Coach Hosley, when he played for me, he's an assistant coach with you guys now. I remember he rolled his ankle one time, and I think Brandon was off that day. But he said, "Where are you?" And I was like, "Well, I'm in sixth period at school." I said, "But Eric, I can get Eric down here if you can see him." he said, I'll swing by. He actually stopped by the school. Eric sat up on the counter in my room, and Brandon adjusting, he does whatever is in the best interest of the athlete. Whether now, if it's to sit out, then he's going to advise that. But he's really aggressive in terms of trying to push the athlete back as quickly as possible, and aggressive with the rehab and all of that stuff. But just a great guy, and his whole staff out there. I mean, I know they continue to add more and more things that you can get out there. I know you mentioned the dry needling. It's just a great place, and I think a lot of people are starting to take advantage of it, and I think you'd be crazy not to.
Yeah, and one of the big things about them is I know during the football season they're there early on Saturdays where you can get in and you can see people after your games. So if you need anything at all, check out the Haynes Total Healthcare Coach, or we are the Coaches Calling Show, the Haynes Total Healthcare Center, as they do a great job with all athletes, and then also non-athletes as well, because you're going to feel better when you're not an athlete if you go take care of yourself there as well. So, you got anything else?
I mean, unless you want me to keep talking about Dr. Brandon, that'd be
So,
giving him too much credit.
Yeah. So this week, who you guys got?
At Southeastern Tuesday, and then at home Friday versus Westfall.
There's a couple big games. So
Wheelersburg Sunday.
yeah, Wheelersburg Sunday.
Wheelersburg at Shawnee.
I'll tell you who probably should be seeing Dr. Haynes will probably be Wheelersburg after 15 weeks of football. Just an awesome season for them.
You guys are getting them at the right time.
Yeah. So
yeah, no doubt. Coach Woodward, congratulations to those guys. Does it right. What a phenomenal season. And, you guys, 3 big games this week, 2 on the road. So
yeah,
big week. Take care of business.
Yep. So big week for Unioto, big week around the area. And when we come back, we will talk a little bit about coaching, but then we'll get to some coaches here shortly as well. You are watching the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show, presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Glo Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real, reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glo Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glo Fiber is here. Welcome to Glo-Hio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLO or visit glofiber.com to switch today.
by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health. Couple things just real quick. As always, we thank Glow Fiber for providing internet access for tonight's show here in the Southern Ohio Sports Authority studio. Also, on our website, sosohio.com, you can check out scores from around the area on the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard. Typically in football, we would go through it on Friday nights, but now we're doing this show on Sunday nights. We actually have a couple scores. I mean, the Portsmouth girls had a really nice win over Reynoldsburg today, so I mean, that's one of the scores. But for the most part, you can check those out there. When coaches call in, which we should have coaches calling in here in the next few minutes, they'll be joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline. And then, sorry for throwing all this out, but our live streams for this coming week, which are always sponsored by Ohio Health. Tuesday, we will have the Fairfield Lions at Eastern Brown. That will be a boys game on Tuesday. Our Kingston National Bank SVC game of the week on Friday will be Paint Valley at Adena. And then Saturday, we will have the 8-time state champion Mount Notre Dame Cougars will be playing at the defending state champion Portsmouth Trojans in girls basketball. That'll be a Saturday night game. So should be a pretty good week of live streams coming up.
That's impressive. Typically, early in the season like this, a lot of teams are playing, and you mentioned Portsmouth played today, and then them to be. You say they're hosting them?
Yes.
So they're traveling to Portsmouth. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's a credit to both schools for basically just laying it on the line and seeing where they stand to start the season. So that's exciting.
Yeah. So for Coach Hughes and her team, obviously they won a state championship last year. The year before they get to the Final Four, but I think that says a lot to Mount Notre Dame, a 8-time state champions. Just like we'll play a home and home because they went there last year, and then this year.
Who won that game?
It was Mount Notre Dame won that one last year. So I think it was like a 6 or 7 point game. It may have been the only ones, but we are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. Hi, and welcome back to the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show. We think we may have had a little technical
difficulty.
Yeah, but I think we still nothing. So let's try again.
Is it still? It's my mic that's not working. Good now.
Okay, so I must have been wrong. I don't understand it because that's how we've been doing the so overtime.
Right.
Yeah. So, but the good thing,
Shane broke it.
yeah. So we'll blame it on Shane. But also the good thing is we don't have a coach on currently, so it is what it is. So at least we're not missing any coaches. So we will have coaches on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline in just a moment. But before we get to that, so whenever you were coaching basketball, how much did you value, like when your kids came in off of a really successful fall season or even a spring season? How much do you think that benefited your team as far as like finding ways to win?
Well, I think it's always helpful, when kids do play multiple sports. I know it's a lot to ask of them to, kind of divide their time up, but winners win, and they'll find ways to do it. And it might not look the way it's going to look. You may not win in December the way you're going to win in March, which would probably be a more refined product. But those early traits, characteristics of grit and toughness, and doing whatever it takes to win. If that's there early, and then you allow your skill set to catch up later in the season, when you're in tournament play, then that usually makes for a pretty special team that are able to make some decent runs. So, they always say winning breeds success, and I really believe that. And hopefully, our basketball team will be able to they had a great season last year, so a lot of those guys already know what it takes to win on Friday nights during the basketball season. But allowing some of these football guys to get into basketball shape will be beneficial, hopefully.
Yeah, so I do think that ultimately can make a big difference for teams is, getting the chance to have success in other sports. And I think you see it in other schools around as well. So I think it's a very important process as far as.
You just mentioned Wheelersburg earlier.
Yeah.
They played in the state final, yesterday, and they're going to play a basketball game on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, one of the worst losses of my coaching career was playing a Valley Indians team. I think on 5 days after they played late into a football season, and they just came out and smoked us. And that was a team for us that ended up winning 20 games and got beat to a Valley team that had 4 days of practice, just because those kids know how to win. And they were really good too. But
right. Yeah, they
obviously, the basketball part of it hadn't really taken hold yet. Those kids just knew how to compete and win.
Yeah, so it's definitely, you mentioned that with that Valley team and your team that year, and that was, I just remember
2013.
Yeah, and that was going down, and one of those things we find out, at the game. I remember being there and hearing somebody talking about the kick six. It was that night.
I remember that.
And then I'm like, oh, that was really fun.
I was actually watching it with the referees, and their locker room was like right next to ours, and they had a TV in it. And we watched it before that game, but yeah, the Alabama-Auburn game, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so we've talked about that at different times. I know I talked about it with. I'm trying to think who I talked to about it with, where we watched the throwback. The home run throwback that the Titans won in their year. They went to the Kevin Dyson touchdown.
Music City Miracle.
Yeah, we watched it in
Right.
the coach's office before we went to Huntington.
Yeah.
You were my
It's
coach.
crazy how you remember some of those things, where you were when those things happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So I believe we will be having our first coach coming on. I believe joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline is now from Minford, Chuck Miller. How are you doing tonight, Coach? We will have him in just a second. Hey, we had a couple weeks off, so just kind of getting things mixed in.
Coach, you on there?
Well, I could hear him over there, but not quite yet. It's
Right.
not fully connected. And we may have a second. Are you there, Coach?
I'm here.
All right, there we go. Hopefully, this is week one for us. Now we did,
Bear with us, Coach.
yeah, we did a few weeks during football, but first time doing basketball, so it's just getting things right.
I came out on my front porch because I live up here on 4 Mile Road in Jackson, so at best I get 2 bars. So I got 2 bars right. I hope you guys keep me.
Oh yeah, we're good to go, Coach. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing well. So a 3-0 start. Wins over Lynchburg, Eastern Pike, Sims Valley. I know,
Yes.
we just talked about this before coming on about how success kind of breeds success in different sports. I know you had that big time last year as you had an experienced group coming back who had a lot of success in soccer. This is kind of a new group for you, though, right? With Kerrigan Davis is pretty much your big returner from last year. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'd say be hard pressed to find anybody that lost more than we lost last year. We graduated 7 seniors, all 5 starters. But Kerrigan was a kind of a pseudo starter. Elaney Howard's played significant minutes for 2 years. I've got a really nice point guard, McKenna Enns, who didn't play a lot last year, but she's something that's pretty rare. She's a pure point guard. Matter of fact, every scrimmage we played, at the end of each of them, a coach came up to me and said, "Man, I will take your point guard." So, our JV team only lost 1 game last year, so the cupboard's not bare. One of the things we've been trying to focus on the last 3 or 4 years is you mentioned it a second ago, is trying to build that, not rebuilding, but every year we want to be a team that, is right there, and, right with Rob, like at North Adams, with, Kevin's had at Eastern Brown, Dusty at Berg and West, and John Buchanan at Fairland. We want to be in that same group of teams that every year, that they're going to be at the top of the list.
Coach, what do you think that you can? Basketball is almost like 12 months. It's year round basically. But at a school year size, when the girls are playing other sports, just going back to the success, breeding success, and wanting to have that total program. What do you think is one of the big things that contributes to that?
Well, undoubtedly success is, but this is a different age of kid. If you ever watch me coach, I'm pretty intense, and I'm trying to change. You can't be as hard. You can't coach as hard today as you used to be able to. You've got to be a little softer, and I'm slowly learning that, I guess you might say. But you got to have a lot more fun, I guess you might say, nowadays than you used to. The old days of just bashing your head against a wall, that's pretty much done.
Yeah, we actually talked about that on our podcast show today. It was one of those things of like kind of evolving as a coach as you go on. So you've had a lot of success over the last few years. How have these kids, with falling into new roles, kind of new leadership roles as well, how have they adjusted to that so far this season?
Well, I think we did really well. These girls last year in practice went live against the crews that graduated. So, and they held their own, but there's going to be a period of time where we have to learn our roles. It helps having Kerrigan. She's our best player on both ends of the floor. I think there's no doubt. She's one of the best players in the area. And as long as you've got that strong leadership, which we do, you'll be fine.
Coach, I know you mentioned roles a couple different times, and roles can change throughout the season. How early do you sit your girls down and basically tell them kind of where they stand and what their role is at this point in the season? Is that something that you do before the season, preseason, Christmas time, or do you do that maybe even in the summer?
I think it depends on your team. The last couple of years we've had so much depth that we've had some girls that would probably have played significant minutes on other teams that didn't. And, we had to, they had to learn, to their, they're going to, you're going to play when you can. But, like right now, I've got 3 girls that I'm looking, to see who's going to be my 3 guard. And I've talked to them. I told them, I said, listen, we might have a different starter to 3 guard every night. It's who's playing best at the time. You just got to deal with that. And you got to understand that the team is bigger. You always hear, coaches talk about how the name on the front is more important than the name on the back. And that is absolutely 100% true. And you got to have a group of kids that buy into it.
Yeah, when you get the buy-in, and I mean, obviously, with all the success Minford had last year in sports across, I think that does help on the buying into the front, name on the front, but it does change from year to year. So I do like hearing that the kids have started to buy in on that. So, you have Northwest this week. Is there anything in practice that you're going to just look on, let's focus on this because we got to take care of ourselves as you get closer and closer to league play?
Yeah, we're still trying to fine tune things. Some teams have played 6 games already. We played 3. I kind of like, especially setting that season up, knowing that we were going to be a little inexperienced in places. I wanted to try to have as few games early so that we could kind of work on tweak things that we need to work on, from our teams. But yeah, I mean, our business is about ready to pick up. I mean, on the 18th, we West. The 22nd, we've got Berg. The 29th, we got North Adams. Those are the games that you really want to play because those are the games that challenge you. So, and I've been talking to the girls the last week or so. It's like, we're building to something here that, that they haven't really been experienced with, other than a couple of them, because they've been mostly sitting and watching. But, it's time for them to step up. That's what I told them at the beginning of the year. It's your time. Some of these girls, they've been sitting for 2 and 3, some of them even 4 years. And now it's time for you to step up. It's your time.
Yeah, and it's got to be nice when you're those kids that have really stuck it out with the program to hear, hey, it's your time, because you've watched some really talented kids that have moved on, and when it gets to be your time, it's just how you step up, and I look forward to being able to see you guys. I'll definitely get down for one of those games coming up, as you mentioned, as that's a really tough schedule coming up after this week.
Yeah. Like I said, business will definitely be picking up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so thank you, Coach, for calling in, and best of luck to you throughout the next few weeks, and we look forward to hearing from you again soon.
All right, no problem, John. You guys have a good one.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Good luck, Coach.
Bye. Bye.
Yeah, so Coach Miller, they got to the regional final last year, and I know they got to the regional the year before, and for you, whenever you had those young coaches, I know we had a season where we had a lot of the JV kids were neck and neck with the varsity kids. But how valuable was it to have that extra practice late in the season, even before you get into summer ball?
Well, I think it's huge. And, he mentioned it's your time to shine. He's still looking for a 3-guard or whatever. Hopefully those girls understand that whenever, their time's called upon within the game, that they make the most of those minutes. But anytime you can practice late into a season, I think it's huge moving forward. Our football team obviously just got 3 extra weeks of practice, and those young kids, will have 3 more weeks under their belt going into next football season, which is huge. So the longer the tournament run, obviously it's special and it's important for those seniors and stuff like that. But the underclassmen are the ones that really benefit from it.
Yeah, so it's a big time thing for the program, but it's also, as you mentioned, huge for those underclassmen and everyone moving forward as well. So now joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline will be from Huntington, Kyle Uhrig. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
Good. How are you guys?
All doing well.
All right. Got those dishes cleaned up after Sunday dinner, Kyle?
Yeah. Everything's all cleaned up. Just trying to get a little laundry done before we head back for the week. You know how it is, Coach.
I hear you.
Yeah. So doing the chores on Sunday night. I mean, I know it typically feels better after a really successful week, but kind of a tough week for you guys this week. But I thought you guys competed really well on Thursday night against Unioto. Who played well for you that night, and then who's played well for you overall so far this season?
Girls played really hard. Executed our game plan really, really well on Thursday night. I got to give a lot of credit to them. Braylee Houseworth's been playing really well for us, had 24. I think she led all scorers on Thursday night, made some shots, and it's kind of hard for them to guard her inside. She got the ball in the paint a little bit and done some damage there. But she shot it from the perimeter pretty well that night too, something that we haven't been doing super well as a team so far this season. So it was good to see the ball go in the hole a little bit. And then, of course, we go over last night and just couldn't get it to fall in the hole at all from anywhere. So that's kind of been our bugaboo. I feel like we, in the season have played great defense, guarded teams really, really well, and just haven't been able to put the ball in the hole.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned Houseworth's ability to score inside and out. She's a junior now, is that correct?
No, she's just a sophomore.
That's what I'm talking about.
Had a good freshman campaign last year, finished second team, and coming back to us. And again, she's had a really solid year. I think she's averaging around 14 points a game and probably double-digit rebounds, and is off to a pretty good start in her sophomore campaign.
What I was going to say was, it feels like she's been around a lot longer, and she's only a sophomore. But what have you seen in her game from her freshman year to this year, and how has she been able to kind of handle now? The film's out on her a little bit, so to speak. So how's she kind of handled that, and how has she basically developed from a freshman to a sophomore?
I think confidence-wise, she's starting to develop quite a bit. Last year you could tell at times she was a freshman, and you know how that leap is from your freshman year to your sophomore year. Of course, you're going to gain a ton of confidence when you play in, 24 basketball games as a freshman. She's shooting the basketball pretty well this year from the perimeter a little better, so that she can stretch the floor a little bit. Last year we primarily used her, in the paint and really pounded it inside to her, and something we really want to try to do this year. We've been able to at times, but her ability to stretch the floor and shoot the three a little bit too makes people have to come out and guard her. And she's kind of she can be a matchup nightmare for teams. I felt like Thursday night that's really what she was, because she was making shots, and when she makes shots around the perimeter, they started with with one kid on her, and then eventually Miley guarded her the second half, and we were able to kind of put her back inside a little bit. And so again, it was just she's developing different parts of her game, and I think as she keeps gaining confidence, our team's going to gain some confidence too.
Yeah, that's such a huge thing for you, especially as a young team. But with it being a young team, how nice is it to have, a steady senior point guard like you have in Tori Smith?
Yeah, Tori's doing a great job leading us from the point, gets us in everything that that we want to get in. And again, she's been around since her freshman year as well, and has played the point for us the last 3 years. So it's nice, in the girls' game when you got somebody that can handle the basketball and take care of pressure, and we really don't have to worry about pressure that much. And that's kind of what I thought helped us on Thursday night. We were able to break their pressure and get it into spots and eventually get it down there and score. But, most of the teams we're playing against so far, the games have been really, really slow paced. And, we have trouble. We play a little bit of a bigger lineup, and we have trouble pushing tempo. So our scores have been, we haven't given up 40 points all year except to Unioto the other night, and that was only, I think, 55 or 57. But the problem is we haven't scored over 40 points except for twice. So, that's we got to find ways to be able to generate some tempo when we want to. And it's kind of and Matt can relate to this with different teams he's had over the years, but it's just a really, really awkward team in the sense that we can go a little bit small at times and guard you, but it feels like we struggle to put the ball in the hole. And then when we get a lineup out there that can put the ball in the hole, we're a little bit bigger, and it slows the game down so much that it just limits the possessions and keeps teams in games. So we're just kind of, as a staff right now, really trying to figure out what we can do. I feel like we're probably one of the best 1-4 basketball teams in the state. We just can't get things going. We've lost by single digits every night that we've played, other than that Ripley game at home when we won by 3 scores. But I think every game's going to be like this for us. It's going to be a 2, 3, 4 point game either way, and we're going to have to start trying to come out on the good end of that some.
Yeah, I mean, you do this long enough, like you've done, you find yourself in situations like this to, and it's really hard as a coach, because you tell the kids all the time every possession is meaningful, but when they're limited in terms of the offensive possessions that you get, they become that much more magnified, especially when you don't score. So what are you, like you talked about pushing tempo defensively, you still trying to do a little bit of everything, keep teams off balance to maybe help you turn some defense into offense?
Yeah, we've still, defensively still the mindset of being able to play 2 or 3, 4 different things. And I felt like we've done that well. I thought coming into the season this was going to be a team that I was not going to be able to do that well with. But, with our length and size, we start another sophomore, Lydia Black, who's really long at the top of our pressures, and then Araya Smith's about 6 foot tall and can play on the wing for us and in the paint. Taylor Tisdale's another senior that we start, and of course has good length too. So we can really play. I thought we were going to have to play all zone all year, but we've actually been able to play some man to man and haven't looked bad at that at all. So I can't harp on the defensive end at all. I feel like we've turned teams over at times. I just, like I said, it's not really turned into many transition points. I feel like our defense is better in the scrimmage area and in the half court than it has been in the 3-quarter court, and just can't generate many turnovers that are turning into layups or turning into points. So we've really had to grind it out on the offensive end, and there's just times we're not really built for that. So again, it's just kind of, you get in the flow of a game and you just got to try to figure out, man, what are we going to do tonight to try to win this thing? And that's kind of been the way. And again, it comes down to a lot of what our staff and myself do and take a lot of responsibility for those first 3 or 4 losses, because they've been by a few points. We've led at the half in most of them or been right there. So again, just got to get it figured out, and it's a long season, and hopefully, we get things turned around and we start coming up on the winning end of those games.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, as a coach, you just keep looking at, trying to figure out and tinker with things throughout to try to make it to where they're going to be on the right side of those on, whenever they get that next opportunity. So I know you guys have, a week this week coming up with multiple games. So the Jackson game, is that at Chillicothe?
So we've played quite a few games already, and it doesn't get any better for us this week. So I know when Mr. Kello sent me the schedule this year, he kind of said, "Hey, we got a little bit of a week that I don't know if you're going to like." And I looked at it, and it's a good opportunity for our kids, because we host Western on Tuesday night, but then we bounce right back in a league game at home against Adena on Thursday night. And then we're playing in that classic that Chillicothe is having. And yes, we play Jackson. I think we're actually the only contest that night. I think the JV game starts at 5:30, and then we play Jackson's varsity team right after it. And then I think there's 3 games on Saturday. But then we also bounce back and go right back to Piketon on Saturday night. So, yeah, we play 4 games in 5 days this week, or 6 days this week. So we're I got to try to limit what we do, tomorrow night and Wednesday, as far as just trying to keep some legs. And again, we've played several games to this point already as well. So, but again, that's what you want to do, especially when you're kind of in a funk and losing some games and some tight ones. You want to get back on the basketball floor. So we're kind of happy that we're getting to play as much as we are this week.
Well, will be a good test for your team this week, as those should all be beneficial contests for you as far as the season goes. So, Coach, we appreciate you calling in, and best of luck this week, and we hope to hear from you again soon.
I appreciate all you guys do. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you,
Good luck,
Coach.
Coach.
Thanks.
4 games in 5 nights. I know you.
Kids love it.
Yeah, kids love it for sure.
Kids will really like it.
Yeah.
As a coach, that'd be tough, especially early in the season. But you know what? If they go out there and they play well and they start winning a few of these things, it just gives them confidence moving forward. So.
Yeah, maybe the adjustments aren't needed as much when you start playing well. So it sounds like Hosworth is playing really well for them at this point, and as only a sophomore, one of the better sophomores in the league, is that's just going to carry over for the.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was a junior. That's how
Yeah,
I feel like she's been around long enough already, but going to be already is a really good player, but going to be really a special player, I think, out there when her career's over.
Yeah, that's a big time name over there in the township. As far as sports go over there, so anytime you hear a Hosworth or some of those names in the township,
right.
Yeah, it's going to be a player.
Right.
So we are going to actually take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more coaches calling in. You are watching the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show, presented by Ohio Health.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Glo Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real, reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glo Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glo Fiber is here. Welcome to Glo Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLO or visit glofiber.com to switch today.
Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show. We've talked to a couple coaches so far, but now we have a coach that has a lot to do with the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline calling in from Adena. Now on the boys' side, Coach Andrew Day. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you?
Oh, we're doing well. We just had a nice little talk off the air, and look forward to discussing how your season's gone so far. So 2-1 start. Wins over New Hope Christian, and then at Huntington. So you guys played super hard on Friday against Unioto. Just came up a little bit short, but just how has this change been overall for you going from the girls' side to the boys' side?
Well, it's gone really well. And a lot of that credit goes to our guys who are buying in and doing what we ask of them. And like you said, they're really, really hard. And that's, that's half the battle sometimes in coaching, is just getting your players to understand the level that you have to play at in order to be successful. And our guys have completely bought into that, and effort and energy have been outstanding so far. And so, so it's made for a good start. Early on, when you're putting in a whole new system and, putting in your own culture and things like that, it feels like there's still so much we haven't been able to get to. But again, just because of the effort and the energy that our guys are bringing every day, it's I think kind of helped us move things along, maybe even a little quicker than I expected.
Yeah, Coach, I'm able to see 2 of your 3 games. I saw the Huntington game on Sosa, the live stream, and then I was there Friday night. What a great atmosphere that was. And sometimes when you go on the road and show up in an atmosphere like that, sometimes your kids maybe takes them a while to get going. But I don't think that was the case with your guys. Your guys, I felt like they embraced it and played really well. I thought some of the things that you guys did, just your spacing on offense, and then your ability defensively to cause some trouble there as well, has been probably one of the reasons that you guys are 2-1, and let's face it, hung right in there with Unioto for most of the night.
Yeah, speaking of the atmosphere, it's something we kind of tried to coach our guys through, because we kind of had a feeling it would be that way. And it was a fantastic atmosphere. The gym was packed. Both student sections were great. I mean, it was what you want in high school basketball. But we tried to kind of coach our guys into that. Like, hey, this is what it's going to be like. It's going to be hard to hear what we're saying, things like that. You just have to play. And to our guys' credit, I thought they did that. And to your point, I thought we started off really well. I think probably the 2 things that hurt us were turnovers. Obviously, you can't give a really good team like Unioto live ball turnovers where they're just taking them for layups at the other end. You're just kind of asking for it at that point. So turning the ball over, and then they have really good depth. And I thought we got a little tired in the late third, early fourth, and decision making wasn't as good. Shot selection wasn't as good. But that's a credit to Unioto. I mean, my goodness, they're athletic, they're skilled, and obviously really, really well coached. So, going into that kind of environment for the first time, I thought for the most part our guys handled that really well.
Yeah, because it really, and I could see where the tired legs came a little bit in that third, because you're getting a lot of decent looks and just missing some in the paint. To me, it wasn't anything to do with the environment. I thought they handled it really well, which, we talked on Thursday after the girls' game, was just kind of, that's going to be the biggest game they've played in. So I thought they handled it well. And one of the guys that's really handled things well for you so far is Joey Francis. I mean, he's been outstanding for you guys on both ends. 24 in the opener, 22 in that Huntington game. I thought he competed really well in that Unioto game as well. Just how valuable has it been to have a senior like Joey that's been able to help you guys in this transition?
Well, it's been huge. Joey's a kid that always plays so hard. He's a fantastic kid, just a great person in general. Really easy to coach. And so having his leadership out there and having him, with the ability to kind of make plays on his own and make things happen, turning defense into offense, it just kind of takes the pressure off of everyone else. And the start he's had is fantastic. I mean, he's a fantastic athlete. And so one of our first observations was like, we got to turn this guy loose. we got to let him go be what he is, which is just a phenomenal athlete. And he's had a great start to the season for sure.
Yeah, that's a great point you just made there, Coach. A lot of times, you want to have a say or you want to try to control a lot of the things that go on. But when you have a player like that and you just let him go, there's going to be some things that he messes up or makes mistakes. But, those are all just because he's playing so hard and being so aggressive that you just, as a coach, you just have to sit back and you got to just deal with those, and because the good far outweighs the bad, especially with this kid. I think, he's off to a great start and it's still early. And I just think he's going to continue to get better and handle things that are thrown at him because, coaches are going to understand who they have to, key on, and he's one of them. But, that's really, he's not shied away from that moment yet. He's in the first 3 games, he's met that match, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think to your point, Matt, he's not a kid that's going to shy away. He's a kid that he welcomes a challenge. He wants to be challenged. He wants to, take his game to another level. He wants to take his conditioning to another level. He's just a kid that wants to be challenged. And it's refreshing as a coach when you have kids like that. He's just he's been a fantastic leader for us. And I think, and also to your point, you do have to live with some of those mistakes because he's a kid that's always going to play on the edge a little bit. And what you don't want to do is harp on the mistakes because then that takes him away from the edge. And that's not where you want a kid like Joey. You want him out on that edge. And, man, he does so many good things for us.
Yeah, and speaking of kids that do so many good things for you, just a couple of your guys with length. Colton Garrison, I think, does a really nice job of being kind of a jack of all trades for you guys, and I've been really impressed with what Gavin Harold's been able to do so far. So what can you say about, those two both give you some length, but also some nice athleticism and versatility as well?
Yeah, Colton's a really good player. I don't know that any of us have seen him scratch the surface of what I think he could be. I think he's a kid that probably defers too often. I think he can be a really, really good player, and it's just a matter of him knowing it and believing it and going out and doing it. He's the things he does sometimes in practice are they're things you can't even really teach sometimes. His footwork is so good. He sees the floor so well, and is a really good defender. So he's a kid that I think has a really high ceiling. And then Gavin's another one. I was really impressed with Gavin. Went over to Huntington. First half didn't play very well. Big road game. We challenged him at halftime, and he came out and was just a completely different kid. He accepted the challenge, and just did so many things for us in that second half. And so we were really excited about where Gavin's headed. The other kid I want to mention, guys, because he's never going to be in the leading scorers. But Luke Preston is a phenomenal defender. He works so hard, and Blake Fitch is a phenomenal player. He's the best point guard around, and I thought Luke did some things that made his life tougher. And when you have a kid that can go guard somebody as good as that, and not let him get comfortable, it just shows what kind of defender he is. And so Luke is a kid that we're also really excited about.
I was gonna, before you brought him up, that's who I was gonna mention because, just a few nights before that, he's chasing Frankie Hirsch all over the place.
Right.
And then you tell him, go guard. Okay, now go guard the reigning player of the year. I mean, that kid,
Right.
he knows what he's doing, and he's really good at it. And especially when you can get kids like that to really buy into their role and accept their role, and it just makes you that much better. And I think you guys and your staff have kind of it's obvious you've set those roles for those kids, and those kids are embracing them, and you guys are off to a really good start.
Yeah. When you challenge a kid, and when they want that challenge and they accept that challenge, it's just so exciting to see, because that what they really want to win what they really want to do more than anything else is win. And when you have kids that buy into winning over everything else, it gives you a chance to be better as a whole than you are as the sum of your parts. And so it's just exciting when you have kids that buy into that.
Yeah, it definitely makes things, especially in the transition, a little bit easier for you guys. I think you guys have done an outstanding start this week. Zane Trace on Tuesday, you finally get to play a league game at home, and then Paint Valley, which we'll have on streaming on Friday night. So we look forward to seeing you there, Coach, and best of luck to you throughout the year, and we appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, and that's, one of those things when you get a senior that's as athletic as the Preston kid is, and he's just like, yeah, I'll just go guard, and he holds Hirsch and Fitch, who are going to average close to 20 points a game each, to 21 total points in those two games. That just says a lot about what he's bought into defensively.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that Coach Day would never give himself the credit that he deserves. That's not the type of person he is, but just his calmness on the sideline. Switching from girls over to the boys, and he's still the same way.
Yep.
You know what I mean? A lot of times you'd think maybe you got to switch it up a little bit, but he stays true to who he is. He trusts his staff, obviously, with Coach Bradley there, and what they do in practice, and they're seeing results on the games.
All right. Now joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline from Lynchburg-Clay, Kyle Pertuset. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing pretty well as well. We appreciate you calling in, and it's. You had the big win on Tuesday, and then the weekend got a little tougher. But with that game on Tuesday, we kind of talked about it on our overtime podcast that's coming out tomorrow. But Tanner Roberts with 11 blocks in that game. Can you just talk about what type of game changer he was on that night?
Yeah, I tell you, when you have somebody down there around the rim that can really kind of clean it up when maybe we give up a drive, or they did a real good job swinging it around and getting some. When you got a kid like that that can kind of really clean it up for you, it really gives your front court a lot more confidence to pressure the ball. And Tanner's going to be a great asset in that regard. He followed that up with 7 more blocks against Eastern, even though that didn't go the way we had planned, but he was still a force. So I think with him playing soccer and being a goalie, he's done a really good job of anticipating the ball in the air. And, that does 2 things. It makes him a great shot blocker and also avoids foul trouble because he's not really dependent on seeing a shot fake to block a shot.
So can I ask you one more question? Is he a baseball player?
He is, yes.
I'm sure Coach Flowers will love that because, I was an okay goalie, and it was purely because of baseball. You can mix all of those sports together, and I can see that because I saw him in soccer. I was really impressed with him. So it is exciting to hear that he's off to a really nice start for you.
But I can guarantee you never blocked 11 shots.
I never blocked 11 shots in my life. So
sorry, Coach.
Yeah.
No, you're fine.
Yeah. So you returned Denver Clinton. And just a nice little group coming back as well. So, how nice has it been to have a senior that can kind of push your offense while the rest of your team kind of comes around as well?
It's been nice. Anytime you have a little bit of experience to go in with the young kids you have, it makes it easier. And, on top of year 2 as opposed to year 1, when the kids are already kind of familiar with what you expect from them and want to do, it really makes things a lot easier. And even though our record right now early at 1-2 reflect it, I do think we're off to a much better start, at least schematically and culturally, as opposed to we were a year ago.
Coach, it's really early in the season, and you talked about culture a little bit. What are some things that you guys kind of instilled last year that you're building on this year and you want to see play out?
Well, we really been working on just trying to defend, just make it a pride thing. You want to guard the basketball, guard your yard. You want to finish possessions, rebound the basketball, which we didn't do a really good job of that this weekend. But it's still a work in process, and we're working like crazy to try to fix that. A big part of it, I'm big on preaching perseverance. I'm going to talk to the kids tomorrow, and we're going to talk about the practice. We're going to find out whether or not we are common or uncommon. By that I mean, when you win a game, you had that big win Tuesday, and it's real easy to, I'm going to come in, get some extra shots, or I'm going to do this. Things are going well. Let's keep it rolling. Okay, now that has shifted a little bit, and we kind of had a rough weekend. How are we going to respond? Are we just going to submit to our situation and just kind of accept it, or are we going to dig in and find a way to get back going closer to where we want to be?
Well, and then you got a tough one this week on Tuesday. So you go to Fayetteville, who had a big win over Fairfield to start their season as well. So, how quickly are you going to try to address that? Because that's the only game you have this week as well. So it's got to be a kind of quick turnaround for you guys to get the rebuy in to, we're going to attack instead of, hey, we had the bad weekend.
Yeah, it's real quick. Like I said, you just mentioned we go to a really good team's home Tuesday night. We go to Fayetteville. Joby Stewart does a great job. Been doing it a long time. He's got a real good team over there. Huge win on the road at Fairfield. Highly impressive. So that's definitely going to be a challenge. But we're excited about the opportunity to go over there and play. As you said, it's going to be a real quick turnaround. We don't have time to feel sorry for ourselves. We've got to dig in and try to get better. And we're going to try to do a couple things tomorrow, get them going for rebounding. We kind of talked to the kids after the game Saturday. It's really going to come down to just making a personal choice to go get the basketball. I watched the film a little bit this morning, and I felt like a lot of it was the ball was there to get, and, we just didn't go get it. So we're going to have to make a personal choice to just go get the basketball.
A lot of times, Coach, if you have you mentioned your post player in the middle blocking all these shots and probably getting a lot of the rebounds. The other four guys are I haven't seen you guys play, but I'm just assuming this. Maybe they're just waiting for him to do it all. And rebounding is obviously a personal choice, and I know you guys will do a great job of getting that corrected. But if all five of those guys realize, we all got to go get it. There's only one ball out here. I think that that'll definitely change your guys' finishing those possessions and then maybe getting some easy baskets because you get a defensive stop and turn it into offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we want to get out and run. That's what we want to do. In order to do that, you got to get the rebound. And on the other side of that, when the other team scores, you can't feel sorry for yourselves. Right. You got to get the ball out of the net, and you got to run your primary and secondary break and get the ball down the floor. We talked to kids after the game Saturday, and we're hoping that they hear the message, and I think they will. For us to be that close in a ball game there on Saturday, giving up 25 offensive rebounds, just imagine if we finish those possessions.
Yeah,
just
I
half
feel
of
like
them.
Defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like defensively on the front end, we're doing a pretty good job of containing the ball or guarding their action, fighting over screens, communication, all those things. We are just not doing the most important thing, which is finishing the plays.
Yeah, and you have to make sure that you're finishing them to get out and run. Now, this is going to be a slightly different question for you. I know you're originally from around the area, so when you come back into the area and you get the job at Lynchburg, when you went out to the court, were you kind of taken aback by just the dark grayness of that court? I love it. I just think it really stands out.
Yeah, it really is unique, and I like it. And the first time I saw it was actually I was on NFHS. I was watching a little bit of game film, prepping for my interview. So, I kind of looked like I knew what I was talking about putting the players in spots if they asked me anything like that. And I thought it looked really cool then. I was like, I'm really interested now. I like this floor.
Yeah, it's definitely a really cool aspect. I think it makes Lynchburg stand out a little bit more. So, Coach, we appreciate you calling in, and we know you got the big one on Tuesday, and then looking ahead at your schedule doesn't get any easier. So, best of luck to you this week, and then moving forward as well.
I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen it?
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's I love
about
it.
the color of your
Yes,
quarter zip.
it
there.
is the
Yeah.
color of the quarter zip. So if you have not seen it, you got to make sure to check it out. So real quick, we are going to take a short break. And when we come back, we'll have a couple more coaches calling in. But you are watching the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show presented by Ohio Health.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Glow Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real, reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glow Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glow Fiber is here. Welcome to Glow Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiber.com to switch today.
As we've mentioned a couple times, I'm John Bruce, along with Coach Matt Hoops. Now joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Call-In or Coaches Hotline. I'm gonna have to get all this down. Is Coach John Buchanan from Fairland? How you doing tonight, Coach?
Good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing
All right.
well. How's life down in Proctorville?
It's great. It's great. The sun's always shining in Proctorville.
So off to a nice start so far with wins over.
It's always shining when you win, Coach.
Yes. So
Yeah,
it shines a lot.
that's a little truth to it.
Yeah, definitely. You do wake up feeling a little bit better when you come off a win. So as I was saying, 2-0 start, wins over Chesapeake and Rock Hill. Can you just tell us about how your team's done so far on this early season?
Well, they're playing really, really hard. We really like our group. We have a really good mix of like a super like experienced senior group. Obviously, they've been to 3 straight Final Fours, and three of those kids are vital parts of those 3 Final Four trips. And so yeah, I mean, we have that group that combined with a really, really good freshman group that we really like. So I mean, it's a great mix, and it's been nice this year because our practices have been really competitive. Like in years past, when you only have a 5 or 6 man rotation that you trust, it's hard to really be competitive at practice to put your kids that play a lot against the kids that don't play a lot. So this year's been it's just been better for us at practice. I think it's going to help us become better throughout the year because we're going to challenge each other.
Coach, how exciting is it to have the special senior class you have, and then to look down at that freshman class and see those people, those girls, very talented, but are going to get to experience one full year with a group that's had so much success?
Well, it's definitely exciting, but it sucks at the same time, because we love our senior class. I don't know what it's going to be like to not have some of those kids in our program and on our team. So yeah, I mean, it's great, you know, and there's no better example that could be for our younger kids than what our seniors are. You know, there's like, just from a work ethics perspective, a how you treat your teammates perspective, how you carry yourself perspective. They do just such a wonderful job. So there's nothing better than that. But I'm hoping these next 4 months really drag, because like I don't want to lose them. You know, I love having them. I love coaching them, and it's been a great honor for me.
I got bad news for you, Coach. It's not going to drag. The football team that I just coached, I felt the same way about this group of seniors that we just had. Just a really special group, and then we have a really special freshman class coming in too. But man, it seems like anytime you have such great kids like that, you blink your eye and it's over with. So make sure you're embracing every single practice, every single shoot around, all that, because it's. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's going to go quick.
I thought this was supposed to be a good news type thing.
Well,
I don't like.
Remember, it's going to be sunny all the time, because when you win, it's sunny, and I think there's a lot of wins in your future.
Well, hopefully, yeah. I hope so too.
Yeah, so part of that senior class, you have Addison Godby that's signed with Stetson, Bailey Russell, who has been unbelievable. Issa Telefaro has been outstanding for you as well. So, what has their leadership been? Obviously they've seen a ton of wins. And I've never been more singularly proud of a athlete than I was of Bailey a couple years ago at the Final Four. So, like, with the character that these kids show as well, how much does that help when you're building a program to have kids like that, especially ones that are going to show those freshmen how to be the leaders, how to compete every day?
Oh, it's tremendous. So we run at Fairland with our girls program. We run where I run, or our staff runs. We run everything like from kindergarten to 12th grade. So we run our youth league. We run our fall league. We help our middle school. I mean, we do everything. So we're involved with all of our kids K through 12, and the part of that of us being involved is our players being involved. So like Saturday, Bailey Russell was at the scores table in one of the two gyms, like doing the book. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's huge for a kindergarten or second grade kid to look over and be like, hey, like, that's Bailey, and like she's about to set the school record for points, and like she's watching my game every time I play. That's a huge deal. And it's just such a blessing to have kids that are just so invested in what you're doing. They're just so invested in our culture and in our team and in their teammates. It's just a great place to be. It really is.
Well, Coach, obviously, that starts at the top with you and your program, and it takes a lot of time and effort and behind the scenes things. But like you said, it does make it a world of difference when you have willing. Let's face it, these kids are still high school students. They're still high schoolers, and they're, it sounds like they're still willing to give of their time, so willingly to kind of leave it better than they found it, which was already really good. So. What are some things, Coach, in this early season that you guys are trying to do to maybe improve upon that you've seen over the summer that you want to get taken care of before maybe like the Christmas break?
Well, I think a part of it was we knew we had a good returning nucleus, but we also were going to add like 3 or 4 incoming freshmen, which we were really excited about. And they played a lot with us in June. And honestly, like, we're really blessed here too that our kids really commit to playing in the summer. So we had an idea about what we were going to be able to do, but it's nice here in the early going to kind of see like who's going to be able to fill what role and how much can we put on them, how much can we do, that kind of stuff. I mean, that's been a big part of it. I think that we're trying to get ourselves to be better just at so many little things, so many things that we take for granted. Like this, it seems like the last couple of days I've been really hard on them about like setting harder screens, setting better screens, just something that like, it's seemingly kind of little, but on the other hand, for us, I mean, we're trying to, I won't say be perfect, but we really want to like execute at a high level. So just small things things that people might think of as small things. We're really trying to be exacting in those points.
Yeah, that's one of those key things because you never know. Like maybe a harder screen gets Bailey open for a shot late in the season when maybe during this early season when you're playing some of these games that maybe aren't as tight, the players don't see it factor in as much. But maybe when you get to the regional, it can make a big difference down the stretch. So I do.
Well, I always tell my kids that try to be an offensive player that you don't want to guard.
Mm-hmm.
I know whenever I played basketball, I didn't want to be screened every freaking time. I know that I didn't like guarding a guy that went after every offensive rebound. I know I didn't like to guard a guy that ran the floor as hard as he could every single time. Like those things that it's not even necessarily about like how well they shoot, how well they handle. It's like literally like these effort things that people are willing to do. Like you don't want to guard people that do that stuff. You don't want to be screened every single time. You don't want to have to box them out every single time. You don't want to have to sprint back on defense every single time. But we're trying to get our kids to like, hey, be that kid. Be that kid that like, man, I got to guard John Bros tonight. He's going to run every single time, and he's going to go rebound every single time. Like, and I don't want to have to do that every single time. This is going to be a long night for me, So we're trying to instill that in him. Like, hey, like, be that person. It sucks to guard you. It sucks to guard you. It sucks to play against you. So
yeah,
just a mindset.
Coach, I think you made a really good point about little things and setting harder screens and things like that. With really good programs, there are really no such thing as little things, and I think that's the case with you guys. What's a little thing? Like little things, they all add up. So there are, in good programs, there's no such thing as little things, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, you're exactly right. When you want to be good, little things become big things. Like something small, like it's a big deal. And everything's a big deal. So. And our kids are doing a good job embracing that. They've been super coachable, and they're getting better about like being able to coach each other and kind of not taking advice from teammates as slights, taking it as an all right, yeah, like I see what you're saying, that kind of stuff. They're just doing a really, really wonderful job, and I hope that can continue.
That's awesome to hear, and I really enjoyed talking to you tonight, Coach. And I always like seeing you at the gym too, as well. So I believe we're going to try to get down there whenever you guys are over at Portsmouth here in a couple weeks. So I'll definitely be seeing you then. But we appreciate you calling in, and best of luck and best of health for you guys in this coming week as well.
I appreciate it, and appreciate what you guys do, man. It means lots to Southern Ohio sports. Well, thank you.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, and like just talking to Coach Buchanan, you can tell why they're good. Like it's just this like, and I feel like that when you can talk to like all the coaches that we talked to.
Yeah.
But that was one of those that was like, oh yeah, I can see it, especially on the girls' side as well. So.
Exactly, and I think he just made it. What a great point to make of being involved in this and everything, and making sure the kids are involved in everything as well, because those kids didn't just go to Proctor Fairland and become seniors, right? It had to start somewhere, and with their middle school and their youth program, and it just keeps flowing year after year, and it's they've been good forever.
Yep, and that was one of the things I enjoyed growing up was there's a reason why I had the same number as you. And it was, and just being honest,
it's true though. Yeah. Kids look up to kids, and the ones above them, and I preach to our guys all the time about how important it is to, make sure you take time for those guys and make sure you're setting a good example for them. So.
Yep. So 100% agree. So now joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline from Jackson, Coach Max Morrow. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
We appreciate you calling in here on. I was going to say a sunny Sunday night, but it was, I don't know if it's
dark.
Yeah, I came in to do the overtime podcast at 2 today, so I haven't really been outside. So 2-0 start for you, Coach. Wins over Logan Elm and Athens. Those are two programs that, very athletic, well-coached teams. So can you tell us a little bit about that start for you guys?
Yeah, on Tuesday night we opened up on the road at Logan Elm. With what Coach Doug Stuyvesant built at Logan Elm for all those years, Logan Elm is notoriously good at basketball. I was really worried about that game, especially being our first game with guys,
making a long football run and not really having a lot of days in practice or really in basketball shape yet. But, Coach Dropsy does a good job, and we went over there and we're lucky enough to come away with a win, very balanced scoring for us. And then, Friday night we were at Athens with Coach Cozart. And I'll tell you what, I want to tip my hat to him because their kids played very tough, physical basketball. We didn't play our best game, but we were lucky to come away with a win because they definitely played really well that night.
Yeah, Coach, you used the word physical a couple different times with the two different teams that you played. Obviously, that's one thing that the Ironmen are usually known for, and I'm sure you guys didn't back away from that. Kind of just talk about the difference in those games, both road games for you guys, so early in the season with only, 2 or 3 weeks of preparation, if that, to be able to come out of there with 2 wins and how it speaks to, those seniors that I swear have been there for 10 years.
Yeah, first off, we have a very senior-laden team. We the first 2 games of the season on the road with, about 2 weeks of practice, trying to get our legs under us, and then a couple scrimmages thrown in there, very quickly with a day or 2 of practice before we scrimmaged, and then it's game time already this past week. I'll tell you, Logan Elm, I really think they are going to be a very successful team here. Really like the way they played. And then Athens. And, that's one thing we hold our head on. We try to be very physical. Most of our guys play football for Coach Hall, and they're 3-sport athletes, and they come in and they do, we don't always make the game look pretty, but we'll play tough. And I thought Athens really played a physical game. I thought it was, called that way and on both sides. And Athens, they even had 4 guys foul out Friday night. And, we didn't shoot real well from the free throw line, or it could have been a little bit different of an outcome, but they really took it to us. But it's nice to have seniors. At the end of the day, I don't feel we're not anywhere near where we need to be, but having these seniors and having, a lot of them that played for me for the last 4 years, they kind of know what to expect in certain game situations.
So you mentioned a lot of them being multi-sport athletes as well. How much do you think just having success in those sports is able to carry over to basketball as well? Because there's not always a lot of time to get ready for basketball because they're playing deep in the playoffs. And then when it comes in the spring, it seems like they aren't a step late there either. So it's a very athletic group. But how much do you think that benefits them and helps them get some key plays down the stretch as well?
Yeah, it's just this group, they're really good athletes. They're competitors. They've competed this way from 3rd and 4th grade basketball and in all sports all the way on through. I'm very fortunate that this group of seniors, I got 5 seniors and Bodie Wolford, Ryan Simons, Charlie Woodard, Stephen Jenkins, Jax Carroll, and then a new one that we added this year, Eli Ray. But this group of seniors have played, basketball together from 3rd grade on up. They haven't missed a beat, so they have a lot of camaraderie together. Our football program is king here at Jackson. Andy Hall has done a great job. We've been a football school, but he's even taken our football team to new levels. And Coach McGraw in baseball, our baseball team's been very successful. And a lot of the guys that all of us are using are a big part of the reason, all 3 of us have been successful these last couple seasons.
Yeah, Coach, winners win. You know that, and those guys are definitely winners. Obviously, and it's probably, you're used to this. You've already mentioned, the football program, and typically you guys get off to a late start. What are some things maybe this year early in the season that you're trying to kind of iron out that may be different from in the past because you're so senior heavy?
I haven't been as worrisome to start this season as I have in the past, is because these guys have been with me since their day one of their freshman year, which is, good and not good. It's great that I've had them since then now. But obviously looking back 4 years ago, you never want to put that many freshmen in a varsity practice and then actually have to start them in a varsity game. So, these kids have, they kind of know what to expect, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They know what to expect out of me. I know what to expect out of them. Even though our offense isn't clicking to where I want it to be, I know there's the next level they can get to. Our basketball IQ has gotten better since, 3 years ago. So they know what I expect out of them, and they kind of know what to do in certain situations that we've already had, for the last 3 years.
Yeah, and then speaking of certain situations, now this is going to go a little off track, but a lot of people will have like coaches' kids. How nice is it to have a referee's kid in Stephen Jenkins? Because it's got to be nice to know like he's going to know what he can do and what he can't do. So I think I would guess that would help a little bit.
Yeah, hey, Stephen Jenkins has been the little redheaded boy at the Convo since he could walk, with his dad calling games over there. So the kid's grown up around basketball. He eats it up. I pride myself on watching a lot of film and being prepared. And I promise you, this kid's probably watched more film or been to more high school basketball games than I have. I mean, he is all about it. He talks to a lot of kids across the Southeast District. If we're not playing, he's watching somebody. He's a gym rat, and that's his main sport, and that's what he loves. So it's great to have him. Obviously, his dad knowing all the officials. Sometimes the officials, I don't know if they're joking with me or being serious when they tell me they're about ready to give him a technical, but he, with his dad knowing all those guys and him growing up around them, I know he probably stretches his limits at times, but he respects all of them, and he's good friends with most of them.
Yeah, Coach. So 2-0. Who do you guys have coming up this week?
Tough Gallia team, Coach Gary Harrison. Tuesday night, we finally get to play our first home game, so we'll hopefully have a big student section here at Jackson, and get in our gym to maybe where we can make a few more shots than being on the road these first two games this past week. And then Friday night, we open up FAC conference play at home against Washington Courthouse and Coach Bartreth, who I know they're going to be ready for us, because I would say nobody scouts and has a better scouting report than that guy.
Yeah, Coach Bartreth does a great job. So, we know
does
that.
A great job.
Yeah, we know that from some of our coaching as well with him. So, Coach, we appreciate you calling in. Best of luck this week. Stay healthy, and we look forward to hearing from you again soon.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Talk to you soon, Coach.
Yeah, that's a group they win. I mean, you said it, winners win.
Yeah, and I'm glad that Coach Morrow's finally. He's never going to fully admit that he's going to relax a little bit. He says he is, but I kind of believe him here in this situation. Having those guys, he knows what to expect from them, and like he said, they know what to expect from him, and those guys are going to find ways to get it done. And it might not be pretty early on, but to be honest with you, even teams that maybe don't make a deep football run, it's not pretty early on for really anyone. That's you kind of gauge it after Christmas break. Then you want things to start smoothing out, and typically it does.
Yeah, I feel like when we're doing these streams, and me and Shane have kind of joked about it. It was like, oh, it's early for everybody. It is.
It really is.
It's because there's football starting a little later, or maybe not later, but basketball starting earlier, so you're getting less time in the gym anyway. So it's not going to be the prettiest early on, and regardless, unless maybe you have 7-8 kids that just don't play anything in the fall, to where they're just constantly in the gym. But not a lot of places have that, especially here in Southeast Ohio, where there's not a lot of options there. So it'll be a interesting start for a lot of these teams, and for a team like Jackson, and then a team like Unioto as well. You guys were in the same week, so it tends to be, the first few weeks aren't the prettiest, but as you said, once you get to Christmas, that's when you want to just get better.
Yeah,
and
hopefully
better.
it smooths out after Christmas breaks, but and the kids know that too, and it usually does. So it all works out.
Yeah, it's when things work out. That's when things get prettier, and when you watch our streams, they get better and better throughout the year as well. Although we had a really good girls game on Saturday night. It was Westfall was up, hit a 3 early, or with about a minute left, a step back 3. Eventually they go up 5. Southeastern goes down, cuts it to 3, then gets a turnover and a beautiful step back 3 by Gracie Brown, and then Westfall goes down and scores at the buzzer. So it was like, it was just one of those really good streams.
Good game to call.
Yeah, it was a really good game to call, and one of those really fun atmospheres. And I know how much you love being up at Westfall. So
Tough place to play.
yes, it's always a tough place to play, tough place to win. And speaking of tough places to play, now joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline from Unioto will be Coach Jeff Miller from, as I said, Unioto. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. So, you guys had a tough one yesterday. I know you dealt with an injury in that one, but how much value does that give your team to go play a really good program like a Bishop Hartley anytime, even if you're not at full strength?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I feel like I feel like if we are at full strength, that's probably a really, really good 4-quarter basketball game.
Mhm.
Obviously, when you lose Miley in the first quarter, now all of a sudden you're putting kids in positions they've never been in, and then you're putting them in there against a really high quality. Yeah, we lost the game, but boy, we sure did learn a lot from it. You know what I mean? I think, as a team and individually, kids learned a lot from it. So obviously you move on and you hope that like what you are going to learn from, you can work on that and get better every game.
Coach, who for you guys kind of stepped up yesterday in the absence of Miley?
Well, I mean, like I thought Magnolia really started to take a little bit more of a scorer's mentality. She hadn't had the her first several games coming out here senior year haven't been what she's accustomed to. I thought she really got back on track yesterday. She, hit some shots from the perimeter, was able to tack the glass. Kiera Beard hit some shots early in the game. But then again, when Miley goes down defensively, they kind of change their scheme and really start to focus on, Maggie and Kiera and made it difficult. So, but I mean, obviously we've had some kids step up here recently. I mean, Charlotte Dennis is getting, between that 6 and 10 range every game. Jillian Matthew and Zoe Detweiler, each game that we kind of consider them kind of one player as a playing like a post, and we're getting, 8, 9 out of them. So those kids are really stepping up. Aiden Dannison's doing a really good job defensively. That's kind of her role. So even yesterday, I think we were down, I think 7 or 8 at the end of 3. So, we were still in striking distance, but it was one of those games where you look up at 7 or 8 and you're like, gosh, we're just struggling so bad to score. I don't know if we can climb out of this hole.
Right. Coach, you mentioned Charlotte Dennis. Talk a little bit about her development from her freshman year to her sophomore year, just being more comfortable. I noticed she kind of took her game to the next level in volleyball and was kind of wondering if you were seeing some of those same things on the basketball court.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think last year obviously Charlotte was a kid who started just about every game until she had an injury there late in the year when she broke her nose. So, and before that, I can't remember what game that was. Let's say about 15 or so. I would say right before that injury, she was starting to kind of turn the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then boom, hit an injury and she's out the rest of the year. And then coming back this year, we've Charlotte has been able to come, outside and play a little bit more on the perimeter. When we added Zoe Detweiler and Jillian Matthew as a sophomore coming up and getting, full-time varsity minutes, it's really allowed Charlotte to kind of come out of the paint. She obviously is a kid who, she doesn't want to be a back to the basket kid, and that's not really who she is. She's an athletic, long, 6-foot kid. So she's has shown already that, she's not afraid to take a 3-point shot. She's knocked, 3 or 4 down probably so far this season. And each game she's getting a little bit better about understanding, how to score from the perimeter, whether it be with, the shot or just, cutting. I mean, she's a difficult matchup. So I would look for her, by the end of the year, just to be really, really an elite player in this league.
Yeah. And you mentioned shooting from the outside. So that's when, as soon as you say that, I think of Kiera Beard. So what has she done to be more well-rounded in her game? Because I know she was 7 for 8 in that game down against Waynesville from 3.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the 3-pointers there, but with a player, I'll just go to like a Logan Elm where like a Kiana Ingram has added things to her game each year. What is Kiera Beard added this year to make her just more of a dynamic player rather than just a spot-up shooter?
Well, it's one of those things, John, that we talked about at the end of last year that, each year when you finish the season, you're looking like you're sitting down with players, kind of talking about, what is it you want to add to your repertoire, going into the next year. And really the one thing I told Kiera was, you don't want to be just a shooter. You don't want to be just a shooter because not that shooters are just, but if a kid's only a shooter, they're much easier to just lock down, and limit the number of touches they get. So she's really made a conscious effort to try to, get downhill, attack the glass, get to the foul line. Again, she's an excellent shooter. Like I told her, you're probably going to shoot foul shots at about 80% clip. But that really doesn't matter when you shoot 10 on the season and you make 8, we're looking, and honestly, I don't like last year. I think we were like in game 15 and she hadn't taken a free throw yet. And, I told her, I said, with a kid like you that shoots the ball so well, man, those are not automatic, but I mean, I feel really comfortable with Kiera's going to the line. You know what I mean? So she's really done a good job of trying to, establish that, like, not only am I a shooter, but I'm not, hesitant to put it on the floor and attack the glass, draw some fouls, things like that. So
plus she's a basketball player. I mean, she's a good passer, and by her being able to get downhill, it's just going to make her teammates that much better as well. So, looking forward to seeing her continue to develop.
Absolutely. Like you said, it's anytime you got guards that can create, man, you're everybody else benefits from that.
Yeah, and then we haven't really talked about them yet, but your seniors, your big two that people, when you think about what Unioto basketball's been the last few years, you think of Miley and Maggie, and can you just talk about what their leadership has been? Because obviously they've done a lot of winning throughout their careers, but can you talk about what they've been able to do to kind of help bring along these underclassmen, the really talented sophomore group that you have?
Yeah, I mean, John, I think the biggest thing is that's probably where those two have grown the most. Is with their leadership thing. Their freshman year was like, hey, just come in here, don't worry about anything and play. Just come in here and play, have fun. And, each year you kind of add a little bit onto their plate. Well, here we are, you blink your eye and here we are senior year. But just the fact that they can talk to some of these younger kids about, it's a 22 game season. It's long. I mean, basketball is a long season, and you're going to have highs, you're going to have lows, ups and downs. And just for them to be able to sit down with a kid who, might have 2 or 3 rough games and be like, hey, listen, it's fine. You're going to snap out of this. We're going to help you out. Just that kind of calming presence for younger kids. It's just been huge. And both of those, if you watch Maggie and Miley, both of those kids are very, I don't want to say flatlined, but you're never going to get them. They're never going to get too excited, but they're never going to get too down either. So being able to kind of relay that message to some of the younger kids is just, it's priceless.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge advantage to have. So, Coach, we appreciate you calling in. I know you got a busy week coming up. I think it's St. Trace tomorrow, correct? And then Piketon?
We got Piketon. The St. Trace is not till later. That was moved to later. So we got Piketon on Thursday, at Westfall Saturday, at Shawnee State Sunday versus Wheelersburg.
So pretty busy week. So best of luck for everyone to get healthy. And hold on, Coach.
I got a question. Somehow the shot doctor is still hooked up to my phone, and at about 1 o'clock today, Jeff and Brody Miller just completed a workout. And is it true that Brody hit more threes than you did today? That's what he's telling me.
No. Listen. First off,
hey, hold on. Probably the only reason he wanted to go down there is so he could drive, because I saw he got his permit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he did drive down. But then once we got down there, he has yet to figure out that 6'4", 220 as a freshman, you shouldn't be standing behind a 3-point line.
Well, top of the key threes is what you shot according to the data I got.
No, that is what he shot. That is what he shot. I had to reinforce that. I don't know if Coach Combs is really looking for him to become the spot up shooter. So we made our way back down by the block and worked on some post moves. So
Grease would have been proud.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Definitely.
100%. So once again, Coach, so we appreciate you calling in. Hopefully everyone gets healthy and you're able to have much success throughout the year and stay healthy. Have a great week ahead of you.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys.
See you tomorrow, Coach.
Thanks for calling in.
See ya.
Yep. Yeah, so Coach Miller, obviously going in as kid. And that's maybe something we should have talked to Jack and Blake about was, Dawson being a spot-up shooter at the top of the key at this point as well. So maybe
Coach Combs is encouraging it.
Yeah.
I mean, Dawson, he makes it at a high clip. I mean, that's not something you want him doing all the time. But, I think
Okay, so John will introduce you.
Yes.
Birdie has the ability to knock it down, too.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. So now joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline, joining us a new coach of the year, Coach Teryn Jarrett. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing well. So, new to the area, now with Waverly. So we've talked to different coaches that have a lot of seniors. So how has that adjustment been with having the lack of seniors for you guys? Some really talented kids, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's been cool to know from their perspective and mine that hey, this isn't just another kind of 1 year thing. We're going to get to hopefully do this for several years here, minimum, 2 years from all of our juniors. And it just, I think it helps obviously with the buy-in and kind of understanding that, hey, this isn't just a 1 year process. Like we're going to really try to, again, build some things over the next 2, 3, 4 years. I definitely think that helps with a new coach coming in, new system, new ideas, stuff like that for sure.
Yeah, Coach. So, what are some things? Obviously, different part of the state. Basketball is still basketball, but what are some things that are maybe a little bit different down here than what you were used to?
That's a good question. I think just the league I'm coming from, a little bit more zone tendencies from what I'm seeing, like across defensive scheme. That definitely seems to be incorporated a little bit more just in terms of X's and O's. In terms of just kind of overall feel, like you guys said, basketball is basketball, but a lot of like smaller schools with, that more community sense of pride and, just sense of like passion and drive from the fan standpoint for sure. Not that we didn't have that, in the Eastern District, but just seems to be a lot more smaller schools scattered throughout here. And then finally, just the media coverage. It seems that we have, a lot more media coverage down here than we got where I was coming from in the Cambridge area. So that's obviously a positive and gives kids, a really special feel to feel like they're, valued and looked at from media outlets.
Yeah, so you come in, from the East, as you mentioned, you come in with a really talented group. I know Landon Russell's been dealing with some injuries, but, with a Cage Alexander, Keegan Hurt, the Myers twins, you have 4 guys back immediately from a team that made a run to a district championship game last year. Just how beneficial has that been that they were able to get some extra practice in last year? I know it wasn't with you, but they were able to at least see some success in the postseason.
Oh, for sure. Experience is, it's unmatched. It can't be simulated. So yeah, just those guys coming in with huge minutes and yeah, like you said, big playoff, big tournament type atmospheres. There's nothing that can compare to that. And then you throw in, Kaiser Kazee as a very talented freshman for us in the mix. And yeah, Landon dealing with some injuries and going to get back hopefully in a couple weeks here. But yeah, just not only the experience, but just the athleticism, the skill set, the guard play. The size, yeah, top to bottom. You really can't rave about the team enough and the potential that we have, moving forward. And we all kind of understand that and feel that. And there is a little more pressure with that, but I think they all kind of feed off that and enjoy it. Kind of want to be looked at with expectation because they understand like, they've worked and put themselves in these positions to have these type of expectations for themselves and for our team.
Yeah, Coach, who do you guys have coming up this week?
So we go 3 at home this week. We get Hillsborough on Tuesday, Northwest on Friday, and then Eastern Brown on Saturday, all at home. So that'll be our 5th game as of this coming Saturday. We'll have 5 games in 8 days. So it's a little bit of a grind. 3 of the 4 at home, which is nice, but still, I mean, it's going to be a lot on, especially our young guard play for sure.
Well, then, all of those teams I feel like are different too. So you're not playing any of the same, because Northwest is going to be banging a lot. Hillsborough's got a great, lead guard. And then I think Eastern Brown has a little bit of a mix. So especially not playing a ton of guys early, definitely will be a good test for you guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like you said, we've got to scout, and we have, film on all 3, and just very different style of play, very different looks each night. And it seems to be, again, that's kind of the big thing I'm noticing also. A lot of variation in terms of not only just, again, personnel, but schematics. Definitely mixing it up and getting very different looks night to night.
You talked about 3 of them being at home, Coach. What's it like playing in probably the best, in my opinion, the best high school gym in the Southeast District?
Yeah, you guys have been to a lot more than I have in the area, but it's the nicest. Just the feel you get when you walk in that place. Still, with nobody in it, we just got done with a youth tournament, and you walk in there and no one's in there, the lights are out, whatever, and you can still just got that aura about it. But yeah, it's Gallia on Friday night was electric. We had a really great crowd, got a really good home win. As our home opener, and that was my first time experiencing it live there, and it did not disappoint in any regard. So yeah, I would completely agree with you. I haven't seen as many gyms in the Southeast District, but it is hands down the nicest gym around.
Yeah, you will not be disappointed. Like, there's a lot of really nice gyms around, but man, the downtown gym is fantastic. And then you also have the gym up on the hill that's outstanding as well. So Waverly,
oh, phenomenal.
Yeah, if nothing else, Waverly has done an amazing job at building gymnasiums, amongst the many other positive attributes that they've done.
Oh, I completely agree. Gyms like that don't get built anymore. You guys know as well as I do. You won't experience another downtown gym just because, the newer buildings just don't have that feel. And they just don't have that kind of layout. And you'll never see another gym like it in the state of Ohio. So yeah, it's exciting to know that we get to host, 11 plus there a year. It's a huge advantage for our kids too. And it's an awesome atmosphere.
Well, and I think it provides a tournament atmosphere almost every night too, because of just how the seating is and everything. So when you've got those young guards, so Cage and Kaiser, so can you just talk about what you've seen out of those 2 so far? You've had 3 tight games so far at 2-1. So what have you seen in their growth just from even the preseason until now?
Poise, coachability, and just a level of maturity that doesn't match their grade. That is just it's not something I don't think that can be taught. It's just something that they just have such a feel for the game, and a natural sense of where bodies are at, what needs to happen, what they need to do for us. So I just for a 15 and 16-year-old kid to be, again, dominating the ball 90% of our possessions. Just the poise and maturity they have, and the confidence they have in themselves and in their teammates. They're both, at the top of our list in assists per game through our first 3, and obviously scoring it and defending. They're both usually guarding the top 2 guards on the other team on a nightly basis. So, again, can't say enough about them, but just I would say poise and just a level of maturity and a true love and passion for the game that is very uncommon nowadays. From the kids that you see. There aren't as many gym rats, and there aren't as many true just ballers that could go into any atmosphere and play a role and make an impact on the game. And those 2 are just special in that regard for sure. And just, again, so young.
Yeah, I completely agree. So, Coach, we'll definitely have you on again, and then we can talk to you a little bit more about some of the special juniors that you have coming in, because Tegan and the Myers twins, and then, as I mentioned, Russell and even more on your team can really play. But we really appreciate you calling in, Coach, and I know you got an interesting week coming up this week. So best of luck to you this week. Stay healthy, and hopefully you guys compete really well.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys having me on. Take care.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, see you guys.
All right, so that's 8 coaches. We had 2 kids come in. I feel like this has been a really successful week. Most of the time, we we got connected. Like once we got connected, everything was good. It was just, we appreciate Christian Spradlin behind running the show today and making things a little bit easier for us to where all we got to do is, you're going to look handsome. I'm just going to be here.
So I don't say anything dumb. I just got to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, just don't say anything dumb.
I think we got off to a good start. Obviously, it's nice to be back in here and talking basketball with obviously with the two guys we had in today, Jack and Blake, and then a lot of good coaches from a lot of different backgrounds. A lot of successful ones as well. So it's always good to listen and hear what those guys have to say. And looking forward to another good one next Sunday.
Yep. So we had 5 different leagues covered. I think we had 4 boys coaches, 4 girls coaches. So I mean, it's you're not going to get a lot of that with the amount of different leagues and whatnot. And we'll be looking to add to that next week as we will have even more coaches. I know we've got a couple that are looking forward to calling in already that are from different leagues. So we're going to try to not double up, not go like 2 weeks in a row the same one, but as we said earlier, or might have been on overtime. I've been in this chair a long time today. So it's been, we have 70 different schools in our area that we cover. So we're trying to talk to as many as possible. So,
well, just like Coach just said, the amount of coverage that these guys get now from all of the different outlets it's really special. And I know one of the things I try to do as a coach is make these 4 years or whatever really special for them, because usually that's it. You get them, and then not very many of them go on to the next level. And even if they do, a lot of them will come back and say, "Hey, high school was, that's where it is." And so for so many people to give their time like you do to make things special for these guys, I just think all of our kids are really lucky.
Yep. And so just go out and support, all the teams playing this week. Obviously, we had a lot of coaches call in that telling us where we're going to play. A lot of different kids playing all over the area. There's a lot of different media outlets, doing the coverage. And here's the thing I'll say. So obviously Haynes Total Healthcare takes care of this show. Edward Jones has the hotline, Glow Fiber. Make sure you check the sponsors of these places. So not just for what we do at SOSA, but the different places as well, and support those sponsors because they support the youth.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's for every high school has all these people that sponsor them. I know that we had, close to 70, I think, different sponsors on our fence for football.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of those people are giving willingly so that these student athletes have, great memories that they can look back on. So, the least we can do is to, frequent their business and, give them a shout out whenever you can.
Yep, 100% agree. So that'll be it for this week's show. Join us next week at 7. We will be back with more. Hopefully we'll have someone in the studio, but if not, we'll have another bevy of coaches as well. So for Christian Spradlin and Coach Matt Hoops, I'm John Bruce. You've been watching the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show. Have a great rest of your week.